Ever since the Nintendo Switch initially came out, this thing has been a complete sales juggernaut. This system is not only one of the most popular gaming gadgets on the planet, it is already one of the highest selling consoles of all time. But what's been strange is, over the course of the last couple weeks, the PlayStation 5 has been completely dominating. It's been outselling it in every single market, in some cases having double or even triple the console sales, and people seem to be a bit confused. Why is the PlayStation 5 suddenly blowing up now? Why is it outselling everything else by such a massive margin? I want to talk about that because I think I have two big theories as to why this is happening, and I think they're both good for gamers. Hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Hello, I'm DreamcastGuy, and let's dig into the news. So this was inspired by a tweet I saw this morning by Genkai Japan. This guy actually lives in Japan. He tracks a lot of sales numbers, cool gaming news, stuff like that, and he stated, "The PlayStation 5 has outsold the Nintendo Switch in Japan for the fourth week in a row." Now, ever since the Nintendo Switch has initially come out, nobody has come close to touching it. It's been top of the sales charts for month after month after month. In fact, you can see here, this is a breakdown of their current weekly sales, like just the last 7 days, and also their lifetime sales. The freaking Nintendo Switch is still obviously topping it overall. Look at this. I mean, gosh, it's just insane to think that Nintendo Switch has sold 20 million of just the standard edition. Oh, God, another 3.9 million of the OLED. The thing is a beast. But just in this week-to-week sales, the PlayStation 5 has really been burning up these numbers. I mean, it just seems crazy, and people seem to be kind of debating as to why this is happening. Here in the replies, people are tagging Nintendo fanboy Player Essence, and he's just being like, oh, it's okay. The Nintendo Switch is still outsold by a long margin. Now, in this case, OJ is completely right. The Nintendo Switch, a big reason I feel like its sales numbers are starting to drop off so severely is market saturation. Everybody on the planet who wants a Nintendo Switch probably already has one. This is a list of the top-selling consoles of all time. Not last year, not the last 10 years. These are the most popular systems ever. And you can see it is the PlayStation 2, the Nintendo DS, and the Nintendo Switch at number 3, with a staggering 122 million consoles sold. But what else is interesting is that the PlayStation 4 is not really that far behind. The PlayStation 4 managed to sell 117 million units, and a little bit down the chart, the PlayStation 5 is already at 32 million units. The PlayStation 5 is actually jumping up these charts incredibly quick for only being out for 2 years. You can see the Xbox Series X is down here at about 12 million. So that means the Xbox Series X has managed to sell 1/10 as much as the PlayStation 4, and it's sold 1/3 as much as the PlayStation 5. Yikes. But no, anyway, so the PlayStation 5 sales numbers spike, I think, comes down to a mixture of stock actually finally being in inventory. I think a lot of people have been wanting a PlayStation 5 for a while now, but these numbers are just so big. They feel like they convey more than that. I mean, this is more than just general interest. A 200% sales jump is, almost unheard of. This is some of the biggest sales increases of all time. And I do think the two major reasons this has happened is, number one, I think a lot of people are buying the PlayStation 5 as their second console. I've talked to a lot of gamers. When I'm going to conventions, when I'm out and about, I have had a lot of subscribers approach me and just talk gaming. And always feel free to do that. Honestly, everybody I've ever met, incredibly cool, very nice meeting you guys. And what a lot of people have said to me is, hey, I stopped gaming in college, or I stopped gaming in high school, or when I had kids, But when the Nintendo Switch came out, I bought it and I've been playing a bunch. I'm playing RPGs again. It's reawakened my love for survival horror or really good fighting games because I can play it when I want. But I think a lot of those people who bought the system years ago at this point are looking for that next big high, that next big game, that next big adventure. And let's face it, the biggest games, the craziest stuff, isn't on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, there is some great stuff like Xenoblade Chronicles, but if you want something like, I don't know, let's look at the highest selling games of all time. What do we have? These are the biggest selling games of 2022. We've got Call of Duty, Elden Ring, Madden, God of War Ragnarok. A lot of these games, let's face it, are massive. God of War Ragnarok has already managed to sell, I think, 11 million copies. It is a very long, very epic story that's very dark and serious. I think a lot of people probably get drawn to the fact that it has gory combat and a heartfelt story. You can see I even have the God of War Special Edition controller. That's how much I love it. But on this list specifically, the game that I think has probably spiked the PlayStation 5 sales by far the most is Elden Ring. Now, obviously, I'm completely obsessed with this game. I am a big From Software fanatic, but they have already sold 20 million copies of Elden Ring. That's across all platforms. But I do think that a lot of people who have been playing their Nintendo Switch pretty constantly, playing Zelda and stuff, and Mario Kart for the last, 6 years, have probably been saying, okay, what is going to be more epic than this? And seeing a game like Elden Ring or even Hogwarts Legacy, because the sales of that are absolutely bonkers, I think that is drawing a lot of people to put down their Switch and finally buy another console. The Nintendo Switch did something very unique in that it converted non-gamers into gamers. A lot of people who would not typically be into big, grindy, fun games, or sometimes even stuff like card games and stuff, like Slay the Spire, which is great on Nintendo Switch. I think a lot of those people picked up the controller for the first time ever, and that was a very big gateway drug. But a lot of people, maybe that are willing to try something a bit more tough, are moving over to the PlayStation 5. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing towards Switch. I'm not saying the Nintendo Switch is for babies. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying that for people that are looking for something that's a bit more sizable and heavy on content, the PlayStation 5 is a good place to go. I think the PlayStation 5 has put itself in a very unique standpoint now, where I think a lot of people consider it to be the hardcore gaming device. Again, I'm not trying to claim that this is just for casuals if you play the Switch. I'm not claiming that you're a fake gamer if you only play on Game Pass. I'm saying that for a lot of casual audiences, people that don't want to try and build a gaming PC themselves or even get a pre-built, I think the Nintendo Switch is a good game system, but the PlayStation 5 is where you go for those games that actually feel like a game changer. Like, looking at the top selling games for the entire year, it's bonkers to me that think of these that are actual console exclusives that are just on the PlayStation 5. God of War Ragnarok, right here we have Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7. It's absolutely insane to consider the fact that there is just such big sales numbers for games that, are not super mainstream. Like when I think of, the biggest and most talked about video games on the planet, Gran Turismo does not exactly come to mind. But these games, because they look so next gen and they play so next gen, I think it is getting more people to give them a shot, giving people a chance to buy a PlayStation 5 and buy these games. Now, additionally, I think it's interesting how much of these third-party sales are probably helping the PlayStation 5. Call of Duty has been a massive profit earner for Sony. Again, stuff like Madden also sells a lot of freaking consoles, but we also can't disregard the fact that the Nintendo Switch did sell a bunch of stuff last year, software-wise, like Pokemon Scarlet. Wow, wait, Scarlet and Violet is below God of War Ragnarok? Is that correct? Scarlet and Violet. I thought Scarlet and Violet outsold it. Huh. But look at that. The fact that we have a second Pokemon game right here, Pokemon Legends Arceus, down here a little bit, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch still had a very, very good year last year. 2022 was very profitable for both Sony and Nintendo, but I just feel like Sony is trying to step up. I think that Sony is trying to really push the idea that they are the hardcore gaming gadget. And I really do believe that a lot of gamers are drawn to that. I think a lot of gamers love the idea of being on the winning team, of having the biggest games possible with the highest sales numbers. It creates that snowball effect. Your console starts selling, your exclusives start selling, every game you release is getting 10s out of 10s and Game of the Year award nominations and stuff, so more people want to buy it, more people want to join in on the conversation, more people are trying to just participate in the PlayStation ecosystem. We'll see if this continues, but I want to make a guess right now. I'm recording this on February 23rd, 2023. There's a Sony State of Play this afternoon. I'm going to be watching it and making a video about that. But as it currently stands, I think the PlayStation 5 is going to continue to outsell the Nintendo Switch for pretty much the rest of the year. Maybe here and there will be a month where it's slightly below it, but I think this is the year of PlayStation. I think Sony is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and at this point, the only thing that can stop PlayStation is Sony making a massive mistake, which they might do. Sony likes to take L's occasionally, but what do you guys think? Are you excited for the future of gaming? What third-party or first-party game are you most excited about? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and please, if you could, keep dreaming. Also, I'm having a terrible allergic reaction. I'm having really bad allergies today, so I'm sorry if I sound stuffy. I had to keep pausing the video to scratch my poor nose. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.